It's important to recognize the history of yoga so we can learn from it and not make some mistakes and improve upon it. And this history of yoga in America is founded by you. So we know what happened in the 60s, why it happened, who did what. That ought to be recorded properly. That oral history should not be tampered with, the history of yoga. From that, we know what was taught, who taught it, how it benefited society. So many changes already happened. And then some people went back to the old ways and took yoga with them in a distorted way, and it didn't get the full benefit. So now we have a second chance. The same opportunity is coming, and this time we want to improve upon what we did last time. And so one of the things we have to do is secure people in yoga in such a way that there's a higher rate of people who will be staying in it lifelong and lower rate of defection returning back to
U-turn.
the U-turn. So we have to do something to manage the U-turn. Now I see that there are two levels of participants. There is the user and then there is the supplier. So somebody comes to your class and says, I'm a user, I want to use yoga for myself. And he transforms. Somebody else comes and very quickly the ego says, I want to become the supplier instead of you.
Right.
Okay, so I want to compete. I won't tell you that, but I'll keep quietly making my plan. And when I think I got enough clients or I got a book deal signed up or whatever, I'm going to quietly go. But once in a while, when I don't have enough knowledge, I'll come back to you and say, Gurudev, and I talk to you nicely. And so I'll keep playing both sides.
This is common in all areas,
It's
business and religion.
Yeah, but in this area, it is particularly lack of integrity because in business, you say, do it openly. In business, you say, that's business, that's how it is.
Right.
But here, the idea is the person is pretending, I don't have the ego, I've dropped my ego, I don't have those needs, but that ego is actually in hiding, it's a shadow.
Right, exactly.
It's sitting in the pocket, it's ready to it's actually pulling the strings
Right,
of this
right.
guy who's claiming to be the yogi. So this is more with the person who has an ambition. The person who has an ambition of their own. They are more prone to the U-turn. So one of the things, and I don't think today we can just solve all the problems, but we can raise this as an issue because that's my next book is the U-turn theory. I've been working on it for 20 years. So one of the things I want to write in that is not only why they happen, why they have a problem, how they happen, and so on, what are the symptoms, and what are the forces at work. I want to do some case studies. And I think, in my opinion, what is going on, what has happened in Kripalu is a very good case study of a U-turn, of egos of certain people taking over a great institution and turning it into something else. So I think and there are many of them that have happened. So some of the good, solid yoga institutions have transformed, become digested, become domesticated, become hijacked and co-opted by egos and turned into something else. So I want to write about that. This is why I was asking these questions about, the importance of keeping the yoga with integrity for the collective good.
Right.
And you compromise the collective good when the ego tries to capture something, take it away, say it's for me, for my betterment as a career person, I'll go and sell more books or something. That is actually a compromised, position for this, but it is happening. So I'm concerned about it, and I want to thank you for your insight. And I want to keep coming back as my book is developing and consult you to show you the book, because you have been at all stages of watching the U-turn, the people who are stage 1, who are long-term, lifelong ashramites, and then people who move on to this stage, to that stage, and the people who go blame and say they're blaming the source to rationalize what they've done. And then then those in stage 5 who've concocted some version of their own and trying to sell that back. So this is
beautiful.
Yeah. So I appreciate your insights. Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think your global vision of how to affect through the medium of yoga at a group level is definitely very doable and achievable. And I want to be very much part of it. And that's what I have been doing all my life. That's why I had large number of people became the resident volunteer staff as well as in-depth learning process that was adapted along with it.
But my feeling is that in the original gurus, you were one of them, the original gurus like in the 60s, 70s, 60s, and so on, they focused so exclusively on the individual level and felt that once enough individuals are transformed, the collective will take care of itself. We don't have to get involved, it'll just happen. And maybe we need to also be involved in that.
That's a very good insight.
We need to guide them.
Very good insight, because that's precisely how I train teachers. I said, that is why I said, I call it teacher training course, because if I call it enlightenment course, where there is no U-turn, they won't come. But I teach enlightenment, giving the title of a teacher training, because once you have made a connection to the source of your higher being, your higher power, there is no U-turn, because you know that that is not ambitious to become famous in the world, to make more money. So all that goes away.
So a truly transformed, enlightened person will have dissolved the ego, the yoga wins, the ego is gone, and therefore there is no ego for U-turning purposes.
Right. This is what I have been doing all my life. Right now, I'm serving 24/7, every day, all the time, doing everything to serve humanity, but I take no salary.
So when we go from individual yoga to collective yoga, then we also need the collective yam and niyam.
Right. Collective guidance.
Collective norms, ethics of a collective group.
Right.
One of them should be, we're not going to go and start converting people of another civilization away from their native heritage, because it's a kind of violence. It's a kind of a violence to them.
Exactly.
Just like.
And it has been demonstrated.
Yeah, just like there are so many peace movements that don't want military conquest, there should also be movements that say we don't want cultural conquest.
Mm-hmm.
When the UN...
That's a beautiful wording, what you just said.
Yes. When the UN was drafting its genocide, convention on genocide, after the Hitler genocide in Germany, they were conventioning this law against genocide. The original draft included a category. They defined genocide, to consist of this is the meaning of genocide. And in that meaning of genocide, they also had cultural genocide as a category, which meant destroying people's culture, even if you don't harm them physically, but you wipe out their culture.
Wow.
So the Western countries deleted that. The Western countries deleted that.
Because that's how West is built. Because
that expansionism, that would mean that a lot of the things going on by the West would be declared guilty of cultural genocide. So they removed. So this is recorded. The original draft is available, and then how that particular sentence, that clause was removed about cultural genocide. So now genocide is only physical. So if you are physically not being harmed, then we can take away all kinds of cultural things from you, and that there's no law against it.
This is beautiful. What you say makes such a good sense.
So this is an example of yam niyam at the group level that the yogis should also lobby for.
Right.
So that when they are fighting for peace, the idea of peace should include that stop sending missionaries to convert those people, because that's an act of violence. Swami Dayanand Saraswati used to call it cultural violence.
Right.
This is that whole thing. So I will thank you once more for hosting me and treating me. I enjoyed and benefit from the Ayurvedic treatment here for the last week, and I'll come back and do more interviews with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Bye.